That's it.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a number, a specific number, 10,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of sits in this interesting place, doesn't it, between, you know, basic savings
Yeah.
and really starting to build wealth.
It really does. It's a fascinating threshold.
Exactly. And we're doing a deep dive today based on source material that argues this specific amount, 10,000 pounds, isn't just a goal. It's like the critical first milestone for a real financial and maybe even personal transformation. We're leaning on the analysis in the 10,000 pounds Financial Transformation Milestone.
Yeah, it's a strong claim.
It is. And that's our mission today, really, to unpack why. Why this number? The source claims it's a tipping point, that 10,000 pounds brings benefits way beyond the math. It changes who you are, apparently.
It argues that the transformation starts right there.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where do we start? The definition, I suppose.
Right. The source is very clear that this 10,000 pound figure, it's not just a nice round number someone picked.
No. It argues this is, kind of, the minimum amount needed to build a proper psychological and physical safety net, at least in most developed economies.
Okay, psychological and physical. So it's doing double duty.
Exactly. It's the point where your savings stop being just, enough to fix a flat tire.
Right. A temporary pay.
And become more like a structural foundation, something that actually supports your life going forward.
That makes sense. Function over just value or what you can buy with it. People often aim for savings targets based on a purchase, don't they? A deposit, a car.
Mm-hmm. Very common.
But the source here is saying, no, this first 10-pound K has to be purely about safety. If you want transformation, security comes first.
Absolutely. And think about the difference it makes. Say you have 2,000 pounds saved versus 10,000 pounds.
Okay.
$2,000. Well, it might cover a broken appliance, maybe a small emergency.
It barely takes the edge off sometimes.
Right. But 10,000, that can potentially cover several months if you suddenly lose your income, or handle a major unexpected expense without forcing you straight into debt. Probably high interest debt, too.
Okay, so that's the genuine physical safety net part.
Yes. And knowing you have that buffer, that's the profound psychological safety net. They work together.
And that feeling, or rather the lack of that constant background hum of financial anxiety, the source argues that's key, right? The stress reduction.
Central to the argument. When you lift that feeling, that worry that you're just one missed paycheck away from disaster.
Yeah.
The cognitive space it frees up is just huge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it's not just about feeling better.
Yeah.
The source actually gets into the tangible physiological results of reaching this stability. We're talking biology here.
Okay, now this is where I thought it got really interesting. The money isn't just sitting there, it's actively changing your body.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
Financial insecurity keeps your body in this constant state of alertness, like you're always braced for bad news.
Hypervigilance.
Exactly. And that means sustain high levels of cortisol, the stress hormone.
So how does the source connect the bank balance directly to, well, your hormones and things like sleep?
It frames the 10,000 pound milestone as almost a prerequisite for higher level thinking. When cortisol is high, your brain prioritizes immediate threats, survival first.
Right. Fight or flight, not long-term planning.
Precisely. Which means things like poor impulse control, difficulty concentrating, an inability to think strategically about the future.
So you literally can't be strategic when your body is internally screaming danger.
That's the idea. And the source points to research linking financial security to measurable physical improvements. Things like lower resting heart rates, maybe even reduced inflammation markers, and definitely better sleep quality.
Wow.
So this 10,000 pound base, it needs to be there before you can realistically tackle serious wealth building. Because you physically can't sustain the complex mental effort needed for investing, say, while your biology is still effectively running from a tiger.
Achieving physiological calm first. I like that.
The first job of this money is calm.
And that calm, that physiological calm you mentioned, that's what allows the next big shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Changing how we relate to risk.
Yes.
Because the source is very insistent. This money isn't for a holiday yet. Right. Not for spending. Its job is leverage.
Exactly. And that leverage is the practical engine for future financial progress. Before you have this safety net, any calculated risk, like asking for a significant raise or thinking about switching careers or investing in, say, a long training course.
Feels terrifying.
It feels existentially threatening because you have zero margin for error. If it goes wrong, you're sunk.
But with the 10-pound K-net, the calculation changes entirely. Failure doesn't mean catastrophe. It's, it's survivable. A setback, maybe, but
Yes, it
survivable.
becomes a learning opportunity Potentially. Does the source give concrete examples of how this plays out?
Yes, it does. It highlights, I think, three main areas where this leverage unlocks real opportunities.
Okay.
First is career mobility. You can actually afford to take maybe a slightly lower paying job for a short time if it has massive long-term potential because your basic bills are covered by the buffer.
Makes sense. You're not trapped.
Second, investing in yourself. Things like getting an expensive certification or going back to school. The downside risk of spending that tuition money feels manageable.
Right, because it won't break you if it doesn't pay off immediately.
And the third one, I imagine it relates to negotiation.
Spot on. The third, and maybe the most powerful one, is the ability to negotiate better, whether it's for salary or even buying a car or renting a flat.
Why? Because you can afford to just walk away.
Precisely. If the job offer isn't quite right or the price is too high, that 10,000 pounds buffer gives you the confidence and, crucially, the time to hold out for better terms. You're not forced to grab the first thing offered out of desperation.
That's huge. The freedom that options give you, it's massive.
But playing devil's advocate a little,
Hmm.
how much of this mindset shift is just feeling good because you have money? Does the source really prove that lower cortisol locks in this different approach, or is it more theoretical? That's a fair challenge. The source argues that physical change enables the mental shift to stick. Think about it. The survival mindset is reactive. You're just putting out fires, responding to immediate needs and threats, constantly firefighting.
Yeah. But the physiological calm provided by the 10,000 pounds allows you to stop reacting and start proactively planning. The source calls this the move from a survival-based mindset to one focused on wealth creation and long-term planning.
Ah, so from reacting to bills month to month to actually designing your future maybe years or decades ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that kind of sustained strategic focus, the source argues it's only really possible when your body isn't flooded with stress hormones. That calm reinforces the new way of thinking. The mental energy that was tied up just surviving is now free for strategy. Okay, that link between the physical calm and the mental capacity makes sense. Now let's pivot to what the source calls the biggest benefit of all, the deepest one, the identity transformation.
Hmm.
We've talked about physical safety, mental freedom, but what does it mean to adopt the identity of a saver?
This is where it gets really fundamental. The argument is that the most significant lasting benefit is internal. It's about adopting the core identity of someone who saves.
So not just someone who has savings, but someone who is a saver.
Precisely. You're no longer just someone who sometimes manages to put money aside. Your actions, your mindset, they become structurally organized around keeping and growing capital.
Yeah.
You shift from hoping to save to being defined by the act of saving.
Like changing your default settings internally. Okay, so what happens then? If someone truly internalizes this saver identity, how does their view of money actually change day to day?
It triggers a really critical reframing of what money is.
Yeah.
Before this shift, the source suggests money often feels like a finite resource.
Yeah, something you earn, it covers the bills, maybe a little left over, then it's gone, and you wait for the next lot. Transactional, always draining away.
Exactly. But afterwards, with the saver identity, money starts to be seen as a tool for multiplying options.
A tool, okay? How so?
Every pound, every 10 pounds you save, it stops feeling like you're depriving yourself today.
Yeah.
Instead, it feels like you're planting a seed for future choices, future opportunities. Money becomes this strategic resource.
A resource that can unlock
Right.
better deals.
Better deals, maybe better interest rates down the line, certainly better negotiation leverage like we discussed, just broader possibilities in life.
Mhm.
And this view, this tool perspective, it's only really sustainable once that 10,000 pound buffer is securing your immediate needs.
That's a powerful contrast. Finite resource versus a tool for multiplying options. It changes the whole game, doesn't it? The incentive behind every small spending choice.
It really does.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, oh, I'll just buy this coffee, the saver identity might frame it as, is this coffee worth more than the future options this 3 pounds could represent? It shifts the calculation.
So that impulse buy isn't just 3 pounds spent. It's 3 pounds of future leverage potentially lost.
That's the mindset. And the source notes this identity shift shows up in small, everyday habits. The saver actively looks for value, not just the lowest price. They might prioritize maintaining things rather than replacing them. They treat their time and their money with more respect, fundamentally, because they see how it connects to their future options.
And this loops right back to where we started almost. The physical relief, the lower cortisol. It doesn't just make you feel less stressed day to day, it actually makes this long-term identity level thinking possible and sustainable.
Yes, exactly. Without that initial physical calm, trying to force yourself into a saver identity while still feeling constantly under threat,
Mm.
it probably wouldn't stick. It would crumble under daily pressure.
So it's a feedback loop.
A powerful, positive feedback loop, according to the source. The calm enables strategic thought. Strategic thought reinforces the saver identity. The saver identity leads to better financial habits and outcomes. And those outcomes further reduce stress, deepening the calm.
And the 10,000-pound milestone is like the ignition point for that positive cycle.
That's the argument. It's the point where the system can start working for you instead of feeling like it's always working against you.
Okay, so wrapping this up for the listener, what this deep dive suggests is that hitting 10,000 pounds isn't just about ticking a box, it's potentially a whole system upgrade. It starts with physical safety, that biological calm, that unlocks mental freedom, the ability to take calculated risks and pursue opportunities. And underpinning it all is this fundamental shift in identity, moving away from just surviving day to day, reacting, exactly, towards proactively building a future, thinking strategically about wealth creation.
Yeah. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the source kind of hints that maybe the hardest part isn't even getting the first 10,000 pounds. Maybe the harder part is truly adopting and then keeping the strategic identity you need to hold on to it, grow it, and use it to multiply your options. Getting the money is just the entry fee, in a way.
That's a challenging thought.
It raises a practical question for you, listening right now. Thinking about this shift, from money as finite to money as a tool for options. What's one specific small change you could make in your daily spending or saving behavior, maybe starting tomorrow, that really reflects that shift? What action embodies viewing money as a tool?
A very practical takeaway. Food for thought indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive today.